Hello, Assalamu alaikum. In this video, we will understand about the fasting physiology with the dopamine fasting. So, what is the dopamine fasting and what is the impact on the body? We will understand in this video. So, the basically is the dopamine fasting is the inhibition of the smoking, sex, food, gaming, and other factors like drugs. These all factors inhibit will lead to dopamine fasting. So the Islamic fasting will trigger the 13-hour to 16-hour fasting. And in this way no drink and zero caloric. No any other like snacks and other things, but we should reciting and the pray. So this is the person which that is whenever the fasting. So without fasting, first we will understand. For example, when smoking is the drug, enter the nicotine into the blood circulatory system, and in this way will target to the nervous system, the peripheral nervous system and central, and will lead to dopamine stimulation, and this nicotinic receptor will excite the neurotransmitter dopaminergic neuron, will lead to excitation and get the reward. This reward is the positive feedback to again stimulation of the dopamine. So in this way the chain smoking will occur. Like drug also function same, will lead to increase the other like the receptor, like the endocannabinoid receptor in the form of the marijuana, the cannabis. So before the fasting we will discuss first, then we will understand the fasting after the starvation. So when nutrient rich condition enter into the after the digestion to absorption from the digestive system, the amino acid glucose, water, fats and electrolyte will increase in the blood plasma, and in this way the osmosis will occur, and in this way the glucose amino acid will enter due to the increase of the insulin from the pancreas to increase the glut channel. When the increase the glut channel, the glucose will enter into the cell. In this way, the mTOR C1 and 2 complex which increase and will inhibit the AMPK pathway. In this way, that this muscle, adipocyte, and bones and liver, etc. cells, and the mTOR C1 and 2 will trigger that gene like for inflammation reaction and the disease, the inflammation response, and the disease will occur due to the production of cytokines. And in this way also the glycogenesis, the lipogenesis, adipogenesis, and the proliferation and division of the cell, as well as growth and cell survival will occur. But remember, the mTOR C pathway will lead to increase the cancer chances rather than the decrease, because the uncontrolled cell division and the no repair. But after the starvation, what will be happen? Let's understand. Whenever the basically is the plasma nutrient, amino acid, glucose, and water will deficient, will lead to glucagon and epinephrine will bind with the glucagon receptor to the cellular tissue, will lead to stored things will be exit from the cell into the blood circulatory system, and AMPK path will trigger and inhibit the mTOR, and in this way the DNA will produce that enzyme for lipolysis, glycogenolysis, and gluconeogenesis, and low density lipoprotein will increase, while the ketogenesis and the cell survivorship and cell repair, oncogene suppress, and damaged cell removes, repair of DNA damage will occur. And in this way our cell will become healthy as compared to the before the fasting, and this is the after fasting is a benefit. This is the person content brain. So let's understand about what is the dopamine correlation with the fasting. So brain contain a limbic system, remember, and this will lead to several pathway. Like this is the ventral tegmental area, substantia nigra, and this nucleus nucleus accumbens and this cortex, and there is a nigrostriatal pathway from the substantia nigra to the striatum. This is the hypothalamus and this is the pituitary gland. Is also triggered during the fasting. So let's understand about what is the dopamine. So the dopamine will target to the basically stimulate the ventral tegmental area to stimulate that nerves into the basically the mesolimbic pathway to the nucleus accumbens and the cortex. This is the mesocortical pathway. While this is a substantial nigra, will the striatal pathway will trigger this dopaminergic neuron to excite, and in this way the basically you can see this is the pathway for the excitation from the dopamine as a reward. The response is the serotonin will produce rather than the production of the dopamine. So when no food will lead to gut movement, and enterochromaffin cell will produce the serotonin. This growth hormone and epinephrine will produce also during the fasting, and also platelets produce 99% serotonin. Remember, let's understand about the deficiency of the dopamine due to the fasting when we will not work for the reward mechanism. In this way, the serotonin will target to the adipocyte through HTR2A receptor, and in this way the serotonergic neuron will lead to lipolysis to produce the free fatty acid and glycerol, and ketogenesis will lead to produce ketones further on. But in this way, here is the another cell. You can see this is the basically brown adipose tissue to lead to thermogenesis will increase due to the HTR3A receptor bind with the serotonin, lead to uptake of glucose, and normal glucose in blood will lead to basically thermogenesis. While on the other hand, the hepatocyte will basically the serotonin will bind, will lead to glucose uptake, and the gluconeogenesis will occur, lead to normal level of the glucose for basically during the early fasting, and normal glucose in blood will occur. For the muscle cell, basically the HTR possible receptor will glycolysis lead to produce ATP more, and the immune cell will lead to possibly HTR receptor to bind the serotonin to produce cytokines. So the serotonin is used for the sleep, blood clotting, sexual function, and bone health, and mood regulation. That is why the serotonin will increase due to the decrease of the dopamine due to the dopamine fasting. The what is the dopamine? So the what is the dopamine during the starvation? The dopamine fasting is the purpose of dopamine fasting is to isolate oneself from the unhealthy stimuli of modern world like the electronic and social media, pornographics, or sex, and bad eating habit. Like the dopamine fasting allow to your brain a chance to recharge and reset for short time, and in this way the dopamine will inhibit to release due to the inhibition of all this activity for the positive feedback to the dopamine releasing system. In this way the dopamine will not receive release, so the dopamine will prepare, and dopamine receptor will prepare. Even the genetic basically will work more, and the intelligence will enhance. The nicotine smoking is resistant to dopamine later on due to nicotine receptor resistance on peripheral nervous system and central nervous system will decrease. In this way, you can enjoy the again smoking if you will dopamine fasting. So the quit smoking is the basically fasting is important for the quit smoking. So the fasting of dopamine is important for the quit of the drug. I hope you make sense about this. This is the dopamine fasting and the fasting physiology. Thanks for watching. See you in the next video for this, and bye.